Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we're going to look at the simultaneous equations now. And the one on the 2019 mock was this question. 4x plus y equals 5 and x squared plus y squared equals 13. So this was question 2b. Now, let's first of all talk about the equations. So as I said to you, there's a linear and a non-linear. This is linear because the highest power of x is 1, and this is non-linear because, as we can see, there's clearly a higher power. What this looks like is, this is a line, as I said, linear equation, line, and this one here is a circle. Now, this one being a circle is because it has centre 0, 0, and it has radius root 13. And it could be important to go back and look over if you can identify the radius and centre of a circle, okay, when faced with something just like this. Now, it's not important to the question because we're only asked to solve it where x and y are elements of the real. So basically x and y can be anything. Now, this can look like two things because it's a line and a circle. So that's the circle, and this is their line, and it can cross it in one place, which is a tangent. Or we can get 2 points out of this because it's circle being crossed by a line, and it's a chord because it intersects the circle in two places. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the linear equation in terms of one variable. So let's just look at the linear equation. Now, I'm going to be lazy, and savvy, and I'm going to isolate y. The reason that I'm going to isolate y is because it is the variable that has no coefficient. It's going to be the easiest one to do. So let's do that. So I want to get y on its own. That means I have to do the inverse of 4x, which is minus 4x. So it's going to be y equals 5 minus 4x. And that's because 4x take away 4x, it's gone, it's 0. Okay, so y equals, and then this side we have to do the same thing. I can't simplify that down. The next step I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this in to the non-linear equation. And I'm going to do that so that I only have one variable. Okay, because remember, we can't solve anything that has more than one variable. So x squared plus, now, y squared equals 13. I'm rewriting it, that's just equation number 2 there. So filling in now at y equals to this. So I'm replacing y with what we've solved y to be when it's at a point of intersection. So now we're talking again about bird mass, and I need to multiply this out and to solve it and simplify it down. So first off, 5 minus 4x all squared is equal to 5 minus 4x times itself, 5 minus 4x, 2 times. Okay, sorry, I didn't realise I was going off screen. Now let's do that. So the way we do this is we do array multiplication. Array or area as it's sometimes called. So we will list our factors over here. So two things we're multiplying together. 5 and minus 4x. Just be careful with your signs, okay, here. So 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times minus 4 is minus 20. Remember, opposite signs. And again, minus 20x. And we're going to have 16x squared. So I'm now going to replace this with what I simplify it down to be. So that's going to be 25 minus 40x plus 16x squared. So I have x squared plus 25, hope I'm still in focus, 25 minus 40x plus 16x squared equals 13. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to follow again my bird mass, and I'm going to simplify this down. So I have 17x squared minus 40x plus 25 equals 13. Now I know that this is going to be, and so do you, that this is going to be a quadratic equation we have to solve. And in our log tables, we're told that when we're dealing with quadratic equations, there's the quadratic formula, which is minus b plus minus the square root of b squared with 4ac all over 2a. Now, in the log tables, it also sets the criteria that ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. We do not have that yet, so we must meet that criteria. Okay, so let's solve it. So we're going to go our train tracks again to both sides, and we're going to go minus 13 to get rid of that 13 on one side, so we will have that 0. So we have 17x squared minus 40x plus 12 equals 0. Now I'm going to use the quadratic method to solve this, so I'm going to fill in my variables. So a is the coefficient of the x squared, 17, or any number squared, doesn't have to be x. B is equal to the coefficient of the x, and don't forget your sign. Signs are very important here. C is 12, which is the constant, it's a number on its own. Now let's fill it in. I'm also going to fill it in on my calculator and just show you how to do that, just so we make sure we know that. Now, brackets are really important here. Don't make a silly mistake because you forgot your brackets. Times 17 times 12. Now I'm doing this slow enough that you can also be filling it in on your calculator, so make sure you are, and making sure that you can fill it in and you do know how to do that. Also be aware it says plus minus here. That means we are going to have 2 roots. Okay, so we're going to have 2 roots of this equation. So make sure that you fill in both. Now, you see that? You can. So we're doing a fraction. I have minus bracket minus 40 plus the square root of minus 40 squared minus 4 times a, which was 17, times 12 all over 2 times 17. Okay, so that's my plus root, and that's x equal to 2. That's one answer. I'm going to go back because mathematicians are lazy and we aren't filling this in twice, and change that sign to a minus. And my answer here is 6 over 17. Now again, don't panic, I have 2 answers, but as I said, it can intersect the circle in 2 points. That's fine. So we have 2 x coordinates for those points. Now we must find our y coordinates. Okay, so let's move that up a little bit. How we do that is we look at our linear equation, 4x plus y equals 5, and we fill it in at the coordinate for x equals 2 and x equals to 16. Oh, 6 over 17, excuse me. So x equals to 2. Now I'm going to separate these out because they're going to be 2 points. This one's going to be 2 something, and then we're going to fill in the other one. So 4 times 2, again replacing x with 2. 8 plus y equals 5. Take away the 8 because I want just what the y coefficient is. Minus 3. So my coordinate is 2 minus 3. Now what about at x equal to 6 over 17? I can go 4 times 6 over 17 plus y equals 5. Again, I'm just filling in this equation and replacing the x. So this is going to be 24 over 17 plus y equals 5. Train tracks and isolating our variable. We're taking away 24 over 17 from both sides. So that's going to be 0 plus y, so just y, is equal to 61 over 17. And my coordinate here for the point of intersection is 6 over 17 and 61 over 17. Sorry, I'm out of focus. So I hope that's okay, but that's for linear and non-linear simultaneous equations. Now, 2 linear simultaneous equations are different. So see how you can get on with those, and if not, come back to me.